Hey, what's up? This is Mick, and you're listening to Piedmont Artist Profiles on Snow Peak Radio. All right. Season number 2. The first episode with cameras. And I got that on the wrong setting, so we're starting off.
You're listening to Piedmont Artist Profiles on Snow.
What's up? Ade Herbert in the house today. Lead singer of the Hawthornes. What's going on, man?
What's happening, brother?
Nada. It's a nice rainy day. So let's get right into it. You got an album you guys are coming out with. What's the deal with that?
Oh man, this is 3 years of my life. Yeah, man. We finally got everything together and. Putting this album out for everyone's listening pleasure here on upcoming February 17th. And to coincide with that, we are doing a CD release party at the Evening Muse in lovely North Davidson neighborhood.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I guess I shouldn't use this analogy because I have no idea what it's like to be pregnant. But we've had something incubating for 3 damn years, and it has crowned.
Right.
So
you guys are doing a listening party too, right?
Yeah. The day before that, we are gonna have a little show at our kind of our little favorite dig up in Lake Norman area where I live, at the Old Town Public House, OTPH for those in the know. But yeah, definitely wanted to do something there because we've kind of honed all of the songs that are on this album as well as some other stuff. You know, with Case, who that's his joint, and Case has really kept us in the rotation over there and let us get our stuff together, let us work these songs out, and kind of workshop them and whole deal. And so we definitely wanted to be able to share in this process with them because they, everybody's been so supportive up there and in that area. So It's good stuff.
Now, this is actually not the Hawthornes' first album. It's the second one, but the first one is this rendition, right?
Yes, sir. I'm going to drink my High Life throughout this.
We're all adults here.
Yeah.
I checked his card.
Drinking High Life, just a little side note.
I got my 42, though.
Just a little side note. Drinking High Life today. One, because, it's a 40, and I haven't had one in a while. But, man, one of my really, really close friends, this isn't a somber note, but one of my really close friends passed away a couple weeks ago. And she's real cool with me and my girl. And her thing was Miller High Life. And we spent many a summer days on Lake Norman getting blitzed.
Yeah.
Miller High Life loaded up with Lime-A-Ritas. So
I'll drink to that.
This one's for you, Mel.
Mel. I might be the official beer until we get a beer sponsor.
All good, dude. You can't
Holla at me, D9.
Can't get past the champagne of beers.
Nope.
Unless D9 comes through. Yeah.
So anyway, this is the first album in this rendition. What's it been like?
Yeah. Well, interesting because the band, they had a vocalist before I joined. And right after they released their first album, that association kind of dissolved. So they really weren't able to push that music or anything like that. But ironically enough, it was that music that kind of attracted me to them. I didn't know, if they had a spot for me or whatever. But through process, kind of working out, going to a couple of rehearsals with them, we did a few open mics together kind of thing, figured out that I was going to be a good fit with what they had going on. And we started writing new music, and this music is, I won't say it's a different vibe than from their first album. The first album was kind of dark. It was real mellow, real subdued kind of deal. And the album cover was black with just the Hawthornes on it and like a black to gray gradient kind of thing. So this is a real somber kind of deal. Whereas, you know, this record kind of took on a life of its own as we were going through the writing process. Because I had my background singing with the singing group, you know, early on, and kind of doing the R&B kind of pop deal. So I had all of that coming into me, bringing that into this other group, and these guys have, you know, all of their varied influences as well. And it's a situation where we didn't really negate anything. Like anything that anybody brought was fair game. It wasn't like, oh, that don't fit our style, or oh, that, you know, that's not our thing, or whatever. It was like, let's work on it. Let's see what comes out of it. And put a whole bunch of songs together that way. And so when we decided that we were going to put an album together, and we were like, what songs are we going to do? And, you know, what's going to go on this album, what's not? And so we were kind of listening through it. And we got to the bottom of the list, and everybody was like, all of them.
So how many songs are on this album?
It is 12 cuts with a bonus track.
Nice.
So it's a full LP. And as I said, these are songs that, you know, that we brought from the ground up. We started working on it, you know, 3 years ago, and we were taking these songs out, performing them. Every time we perform, we go back in the rehearsal room, say what worked, what didn't. We, you know, work on this, work on that. It allowed me an opportunity to kind of find my voice within the group. Few times, like we recorded a couple of these songs real early on, and as time went on and we started recording more and more stuff, I go back and listen to some of the earlier stuff I recorded, and I was like, you got to re-record that.
All right. Well, it's good that you're seeing progress at it. One thing strikes me about your guys' music is that it has so many influences. So, like, there's definitely like a good time vibe to it, but you also have, I know on this album, songs like "Truth to Power," which have a social underlying tone there.
Yeah, that was me. And it's probably, I mean, certainly with the song being as timely as it is now, people are going to think, you know, this is in response to the current administration. I wrote the song during Obama's presidency. Right. And it wasn't, at the time when I wrote it, it wasn't geared toward the office of the presidency or anything like that. We were just throwing ideas around, and we get kind of political, you know, as we're talking before we rehearse and all that stuff. And everybody, you know, everybody's, you know, pretty abreast on current events and stuff like that. So we share ideas and thoughts back and forth. And the term "Truth to Power" came up, and I was just like, man, I think that'd be like a killer song. And so I just went home and I just started thinking about just all of the things that bother me in the vein of social injustice and so forth. Like, and I just started writing a song about the things that bother me about, you know, what's going on in the world. And then that song came out. And then Donald Trump was elected president. And then it was like, then
it had a reason. Right on. Let's see. When you guys got any other live shows after the CD party?
Currently, well, we do actually. We just won a bid. We're going to be performing over the summer in the Birkdale's Sound of the Summer. I forgot what they call that series that they do every summer over there on the Green, or Music on the Green.
Music on the Green. I think that sounds right. That sounds familiar.
And we didn't solidify the date yet, but we were accepted to do it. We did it once last year on what had to be the hottest fucking day of the year.
I think I remember thinking about going to that show, and then I didn't.
Oh, dude, it was terrible. But there were a few people out there, so that was cool. Yeah. And now hoping that, mind you, I'm definitely new to pushing my own music kind of thing. Was fortunate enough early on in my music career to have fallen into the machine kind of sort of, and so there were all these people that did all that stuff for you. Right. All you had to do was just show up, kind of thing. And that didn't work out, so I don't like that anyway. So now you know, figuring out figuring out all the mechanisms and pushing your own music and being an independent artist and all that stuff, which is why stuff like this is so important, because you have to do the work to get your music out there. It doesn't matter how good it is,
Right.
if people don't know it's there.
You got to have the push.
Yeah, you got to do it. Nobody's gonna push it as hard as you will.
So what is your do you have like a marketing plan? How do you plan on pushing this?
Yeah, I interestingly enough, coming from the world of social media, I have supremely neglected the band's social media. But it's one of those things where you just get so tired of dealing with it in that realm from doing other stuff. But it is such a powerful deal. So I got us all on board now, and we have a pretty robust social plan that we'll be rolling out, especially now that we have material to market, and it's not just album coming. Look at us at rehearsal.
Right.
So we have legitimate material to push out. We're gonna be making a few videos and be able to do stuff like that. Really, this whole deal for us, at least in my eyes, is gonna be more of a brand awareness kind of thing than anything else. We don't have any delusions of grandeur that we're gonna sell 1,000 records or anything like that. It's possible, and we'll take it.
It's totally possible.
I'm fully aware people don't really buy music. Like, recorded music has become a commodity almost, and I'm perfectly fine with that, as long as enough people are taking in this recorded music and then saying, "Oh, I want to see these guys play,"
right?
And then invite us to your venue, and then we can make a couple $1,000 or whatever.
Yep.
I'll take that. I'll take that over a record any day.
So are you guys going to try to get on any of the streaming platforms? Do you have one in mind?
Yeah, we're gonna distribute digitally everywhere. So it'll be available for purchase on iTunes as always, and all of those for purchase deals. We'll have a Bandcamp site. That whole deal will be on Spotify. We'll be on Pandora. Like everywhere where we can get it out digitally is good to go, because that's you have to make people aware of who you are, and the more work you do in that, especially on a platform like Spotify, the more work you do in pushing your music and getting out there and engaging with other people's music and so forth, Spotify will then say, okay, well then let's drop these guys in a things you should listen to playlist, or musicians on the come up playlist, or kind of, and the more you hit those playlists and things like that, the more people who they may not even think they want to know who you are, kind of thing, but your song pops up and they're like, oh, this sounds kind of good. Who are these guys? Let me check them out.
Right. I think the Spotify playlist is a really useful tool, and I think people are just now starting to realize what they can do with it. I know that the Muse a while back had a show, and they put a set list together, or a playlist on Spotify of the bands that were coming. So we're going to start doing that here in house and have like weekly playlists and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's really, when you really boil it all down to the foundation, the whole social media movement and this kind of digital revolution that we're living in now is all about relationships. Whereas beforehand you had supply and demand, you had suppliers, you had consumers, kind of thing. Now it's much more of a relationship type of deal, whereas you could have a supply and you could have a demand for it, but if you don't have the relationship with those people, they don't care. So it's not like you have to go to your local record store and browse through and try to find who's the good music or whatever. Music is everywhere.
The door has to be open the right way.
Music is everywhere, and they'll either find yours or they'll find somebody else's. So
that's kind of the thing, in this modern economy. The consumer is out there for your product. Almost any quirky thing you make, there's someone there to buy it. It's how can you connect to that market. Yeah. So I think social's the number one way.
Yeah, and having a website is always important. You want a hub, kind of have a home where you can host all of your stuff at. But I think your website, while it's a hub and it's kind of foundational, it's more to supplement all of the activity, at least in my mind. Yeah. Supplement all the activity that you do on social, to where people find you, they get to know more about you through your social posts and things like that. And then once you got the hook set and you really have somebody who wants to know about you, then they're going to go to your website, and then they're going to read your bio,
Right.
and want to see all your pictures and buy a t-shirt and all that other stuff. But nobody's going to your website because they saw a post on Facebook.
No.
Like, if they don't have that relationship with you, they're not, and Facebook doesn't want them to.
No, absolutely not.
Facebook wants them to stay on Facebook.
Yeah, you got to pay money if they're going to send them to your website.
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't that some shit? Well, you brought a song here tonight with you. You want to introduce that?
Yeah. Now this song is we're still in post-production. but we we're tiptoes on the finish line here. But this song is unmastered. But you get to hear this mixed down studio version of a tune called "Dances in the Rain" that we wrote and recorded, and it's an example of kind of the varied styles that you find on the record, because it's got like a world beat to it. It's got a lot of percussive elements and so forth and so on, and it's vastly different from the Truth to Power that we also have on the record. The same elements are there. You got you have the really rock guitar kind of deal, which is good stuff. You got a funky bass line. Rob is going crazy on drums, as he always does, and I put a melody line on top of it. So those are the pillars you'll find in each one of our songs. It's just that we find new ways of expressing those in different styles throughout this record.
Right on. Well, here it is, "In the Rain."
Emotions well up in her body from being weary and alone. Her chiseled edges showing signs of weakness when beaten stone. She thinks back to a softer time when dreaming wasn't very hard. Simple joys of make-believe could take the sting from all the scars. Every day she wakes a little colder to the world outside her door. The broken windows of her past only remind her what the future has in store. Longs to shut her eyes each night and hide from all her daily woes. She's built the world inside her nighttime, where only she can go. She lifts her head up with yearning eyes. She wills the sky to open, and then she dances in the rain again. Oh, dances in the rain again. Oh, the little girl inside her cries out, "Don't you forget about me here." The plans we made to climb those mountains, no, I won't let them disappear, no. She stills herself with self-defiance and meets her challenges, aggressions. Too strong to let exhaustion set in. Her mind raining and her legs are sore. She fights to drown the thought that she can't take it anymore. But through her hardness, deep inside her mind, she lets her guard down to enjoy the time she dances in the rain again. Oh, dances in the rain again. Oh, rain again. Oh, dances in the rain again. Oh, dances in the rain again. Oh, dances in the rain again. Oh, rain again. Oh, dances in the
All right, man. That sounds good. All right, so where can people find you? Where's your listening party at again?
Listening party, listening party will be at Old Town Public House, Cornelius, North Carolina. And that's on February 16th. And the CD release show, which is going to be a bigger show than on the 16th on the listening party. That's going to be at the Evening Muse in Noda in Charlotte, North Carolina, February 17th.
You guys got an opening act, or you just doing solo?
That's just us, man.
Nice.
We got a little treat that we're adding to. We're not going to take a break. We're going to play straight through.
Nice.
So, we got a little treat that we're going to add instead of taking a break.
Oh,
So in between the two album sets.
nice. All right, man. Well, Ade Herbert from the Hawthornes, thanks for swinging by, man.
Yeah, man.